All right, so we're going to get started in this class. I am expecting a couple of people to sign on. What I do know is that the individual that is joining us from a different platform is getting ready to sign in. So we have one person that's going to be coming from through Zoom that'll be registering through Zoom, but the other people are registering from different platforms. So I'm going to pull everybody in together. I got somebody that's going to be in here from StreamYard, somebody that's going to be in here from Zoom, and then somebody else that's picking us up through our Public Research Inc. Platform. And I want to do it this way so that everybody, even though you won't be able to see each other, you'll be in here at the same time. And again, we are doing title abstracting made simple. As a book, we before had started in chapter 4, and we were working through a report that we had put together, and we were showing you about the search engines. Remember, we talked about how to go in and to find the variation of search engines. Well, this week, what we're going to be doing is talking to people about how to get into the industry, and then we'll go back to picking up where we left off with showing you guys how to put together a report. This specific meeting is for those who have expressed their desire to be involved in the title industry. So this is the industry whereby if you want to get into titles, this is the route that you would take to get into the title business. I'm going to walk you through each section of it. If you would go with me to get the page number. I think it's page 45. We may start even sooner than that in your title abstracting made simple. And so we're going to be working from this book right here, Title Abstracting Made Simple. And what we're going to start with is showing you how to get in the title business. Now, if you're already a title abstractor and you're already in the title abstracting business, then what we're going to do is talk to you about how you can set up your own limited franchise unit. And in doing that, you can show people how to get involved in the industry, which is something that's really fascinating. And we want to make sure that you are engaging in that opportunity. You're helping people to get involved in the title abstract industry because it's really fascinating. And you already know that. If you are in the business, you already know that. So I'm going to give everybody a chance to get signed in, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I think whoever is signing in through Zoom, I think they just came in. So again, we've got some people that are coming in through Zoom. One person particularly I know registered for Zoom, and then we've got two people that are supposed to be coming in through StreamYard, and the rest of the people are joining us on the Facebook Live simultaneously. So we're going to try to see if we can rock this all together at once. Let's see. I think we just got, okay, so I see where Stephanie has logged in through StreamYard. Okay, Stephanie, I see you. Thank you for logging on. We're waiting on two more people that are supposed to be logging on through StreamYard. Waiting for Rachel and for Miracle. I'm sorry. Yeah, and then Jeremy is going to be joining us from the Public Research Inc. I think Facebook Live platform. So I think we got everybody. Or is Jeremy? Jeremy might be joining from the YouTube Live, but I think he's joining from the Facebook Live. So I'm going to go ahead, guys, and open this up. So for those of you who have this book, Title Abstracting Made Simple, go ahead and make that available. Yeah, go ahead and pull that out. And we're going to take a look at, oh, wait a minute. I hear an echo. Let me see where this is happening from. Huh. Let's see. Give me just a second. I think one of the other meetings is spilling over to this one. Let me see what I can do to let's see. Okay. So, all right, because we can't all see each other, but in each one of the platforms, you all can see me. So that means that my recording is spilling over into each one of the, and we don't want that. All right. So let me, all right. So there are variation of people here for a variation of reasons. I'm not going to put anybody on the spot, but if you have any questions, I think there's a chat in each one of the platforms. I know there's a chat in StreamYard. So for those of you who are logged into StreamYard, to that StreamYard link that I sent to you, you can use the chat that's available there to make your comments, and I can see them and answer them. If you're in the Zoom with me, and I only had one person register, but anybody that has the link that wants to register even while we're doing this, feel free to do so and join us here in the Zoom. There's a chat here. You can raise your hand. If you've raising your hand and I'm just carrying on and I'm not seeing your hand, you can unmute and speak if you have any type of question. I don't know everybody's agenda for being here. So if I'm not covering what it is that you want to know, feel free to unmute or raise your hand or put a question in the chat that directly affects what you're asking for. Now, if you're on that Public Research Live, I can see your comments as well. I think the only place where the comments are delayed is the YouTube Live. You guys' comments are delayed. I can't really see them. So you may have to kind of poke me to make sure that I'm seeing them. So what I mean by poke me is you may have to text me to make sure that I'm seeing your comment, because I know you're here for a reason. Everybody's here for a reason, and we want to make sure that we're addressing that. Okay, so now that I've done all the cleanup, done all the admin stuff, then let's jump into this. So we've been talking to you about the career that very few people know about. If you're on here and you are already in the title abstracting business, just put a comment in the comment section or in the chat section telling me that you're already in the abstracting business, so that I'm not addressing things that are elementary to you that you already know, because I want to make sure I'm addressing things that are going to be helpful to you. Otherwise, why are we even opening this up? Second thing I want you to let me know in the chat is if you already have this book, Title Abstracting Made Simple. If you've already got the book, I need to know that you already have it, so that I'm not repeating things that you already know or that you already have access to. What I want to do is I want to provide you, I want to be a resource of information that you may need. And the last thing I want is if you would share in the comments, so that I know whether or not you've logged on because you're interested in the business, you're interested in becoming an abstractor, or you're interested in starting a limited liability agreement or unit, so that you can extend the business or expand the abstracting business that you may already have. Some people want to do both. Some people want to start, and they also want to set up a limited franchise opportunity where they can extend and expand their business. All right, that's all the cleanup stuff I want. All right, so if you know anything about the title industry, then just send out some kind of emoji, so I know that I'm speaking to people who know something about the title insurance industry. Abstracting is a little known part of the title insurance industry. Title insurance is what's used to insure individuals who own property. If you own property, then it insures people who own property against people coming to make a claim against their title. So they own real estate, and that title insurance protects them from somebody coming and making a claim against their property. Some type of claim is if they have a legal right to ownership or a portion of ownership of their property. That is title fraud. Or they have a claim to sue them for something that was improperly recorded, right? Well, title insurance protects against any past claims that may affect them in the future, right? That's what title insurance is. All right. Well, this little known hidden career that's inside title insurance is called abstracting. Okay. I see Cindy. Cindy is in the Zoom. All right, Cindy, let me read your comment. And by the way, welcome for coming. And let's make sure that while you're here that you get everything answered that you need to have addressed. I got a glimpse of the comment and then, okay. All right. So, all right, Cindy, let me ask you, do you know anything about the business at all? You can answer in the chat or you can unmute, whichever one works for you. That way I know where to start you and I'm not starting you in a place where you're wondering why I'm wasting your time.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Yes, I do have some knowledge of the business. I have done some abstracting, but I just really want to delve deeper into it and really start a business with it. So, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much and welcome. Okay. I'm on a different screen and I'm reading. Okay. Jeremy is saying that he is in. Okay. I hear you. Okay. All right. I know how to address that as well. Okay. All right. So Cindy, when you say you've done some abstracting, Jeremy, when you say you've done some abstracting, I don't want to make any assumptions at all. So I'm going to start right here with saying that if you've done some, then you know that the potential is there for you to make six figures and beyond, much greater than that. And there's also longevity there. So the first thing that we want to know about the abstracting business is that you can come into it as a professional abstractor, whereby you gain employment by title companies or title firms or lenders or abstracting firms where they're going to pay you a good salary to do this. Or you may want to form your own business. And that's what it sounds like I'm hearing both of you say, that you want to be an independent provider and provide services to multiple clients. And that's what we teach you in the course. We've got several people that we've taught this course to. Some we taught over 20 years ago, and they are still in the abstracting business. Each one of them have their own companies. Some of them have kept their abstracting companies and then ventured into real estate. And now they have real estate brokerages in addition to their abstracting companies. Some of them have run for public office in the county, but it all started with them understanding title through abstracting. You can become a licensed title agent by starting as an abstractor and furthering your studies in the industry. You can become a licensed title examiner, and you can do the analytical work that's done to prepare the commitments. Or you can even move into the expansion of underwriting and the leadership roles that come along with underwriting. That's how huge it is. That's how vast it is. You can move from residential abstracting into commercial abstracting. But what you want to make sure that you know is you want to make sure you understand the fundamentals. So I don't know how technical you are in terms of being savvy and understanding how to read the legal descriptions. But in this course that we teach in chapter 4, we go through and explain to you all of the plotting and how to break down the legal descriptions, because I found that a lot of people who are in the industry, they're not very strong in reading legal descriptions. And if you're going to make it a career, even as your own business, especially as your own business, that's where you want to be strongest at. Because if you're going to have your own business, your liability insurance, your E&O insurance is going to have to be responsible for everything that it is that you do. If you're employed by somebody, if you are a title examiner, or you are a title agent, or you are a underwriter, all of those are employed by other people, which means that your liability is not based on your own E&O. But if you're going to be an abstractor, you got to be strong in understanding legal descriptions, because it's going to be your company's E&O insurance that's going to have to cover you. So So I don't know if you're familiar with the public land survey system, but in chapter 4 of this book, starting on page 37, we start to teach you specifically about the variation of legal description types. And the reason why we teach you about them is because we want you to know how to read them. We want you to know how to plot them. So as you're reading them, you can plot them. I don't know how many of you have worked with Deed Plotter software, but if you haven't worked with that, we also teach you how to do that in this course, because if you're going to do commercial searches, you're going to run into some legal descriptions that are going to be a doozy. You don't want to spend several days trying to decipher the legal description as you got the out sales there. You want to be able to plot that. And with the Deed Plotter, it'll show you whether or not that legal description completely closes, or if there's some parcels or some cardinal calls that are missing from that legal description. Because if for whatever reason you're doing your title and there's a falter in the legal description, that is a clear opening to a claim, and the claim's going to come back to you. Yeah. So whenever there's a claim and the insurance company pays the claim, even when they accept responsibility for the claim, they look for the abstractor that did the title research, and that becomes a claim against your policy. That's why you want to know, one of the first things you want to understand is how to intricately look at the legal description. So I'm looking around to see if anybody's making a comment as to their experience in terms of legal descriptions, so that I don't spend a lot of time on something that you already know. But I can tell you this, in the course, we're going to teach you about meets and bounds, how to read those cardinal calls, how to plot what you're reading in the cardinal calls. Pretty much, if you're looking at a piece of property that's in a subdivision, that's pretty much going to be easy to understand. We teach you about the different layers of acreage, so that you understand how the quarter systems work, the amount of land that's in the quarters, how they're broken down, all of that. And I don't know if you can see an image of this book. I should have already had this available to load onto the screen. It is now, I'm now becoming aware of the fact that I should have already had this up on the screen. But if you can see this in the book, we actually have a diagram of the parcel grid that we teach in the book. We teach this course virtually, right? So we have a time that we meet with each person each week. It's a 10-week course. Every week we're teaching you a particular portion, but when we're teaching it to you, we also have an exam that's included. And the reason why that exam is there, because some people are in states where it's required that they be licensed to be an abstractor. And so the state requires that they take a test. Well, the exam at the end of each chapter is equivalent to the exam that they would need to take. And so it's like a pre-exam for them. And so at the end of each chapter, we have you to take an exam. That exam helps you to measure where you are, but it also helps us to understand where you are, so that you don't go through the course having paid for the course and not know the areas where you're not coming up strong. We also teach you how to obtain clients. So when we say we teach you how to obtain clients, we give you a list of clients that you can reach out to, and you can be onboarded with them. We let you know what they're going to be looking for in terms of the vetting process. If you want to be someone who wants to become a title agent, because you can be an independent title agent. If you're looking to become a title agent, there is some groundwork that we teach in this course that will prepare you for your state's course. That's required for you to get your title agent license. So I don't know if this is some of the information that you would need, but we also teach that in this course. If I could, Jeremy, okay. I see your note. You're in that public research Facebook Live, and I can see your note. Okay. Give me just a second. I want to reach out to you and respond. Give me just a second. I see what you're saying, and I'm going to get to that to show you that we do. Well, let me just do it now. So we do teach you how to understand reverse indexing, and there is an on-site course that we teach as well. but a lot of people aren't able to meet me at the county. So here's what I do. And you'll see inside of the course, in the recording and in the podcast is there, one of the course that I teach this way, where I go to the county. In this particular one, I went to the county. I recorded from the time I walked in the door, looking at the index books. I already knew what we needed to look up to research in the reverse index. I knew what years we need to start at and how far we needed to go. Well, I didn't know how far we needed to go back, but I knew where we needed to start. I knew the name we were looking for, and I knew the brief legal we were looking for. So I walk in the door, I'm recording. I show how we go to the index books, how we find the direct index books. I'm doing all of this in the physical records room. And the camera is showing you page by page how we're researching the names in the index, reverse index, the grantee index, to find where that particular individual who conveyed the property was able to receive vesting interest in the property. So we walk through all of that. Now, at the same time I'm doing that, I have the students in their prospective counties walking through the same thing, because I've given them specific searches for their county. So these are searches that we've already done. We've already completed. And so we know the history, and we give it to them, so we understand where they're going to have to start in the index book. We can tell them where to start. They start the researching. They're recording what it is that they're doing. And then we have admin watching what they're doing, so that as they have questions, we can answer, because we're looking at what they have recorded. Now, some of the people are able to go to the county with me, physically go, because we're in the same area. But in cases when we're not in the same area, we can still get it done and walk you through physically. So yes, to answer your question, yes, we can walk you through physically how to get it done in the records room. That's right, hands-on. And that's for reverse indexing in the records room, where you're doing maybe commercial full state statute or even residential full state statute. So I hope that answered your question, and I'll keep watching to see if anybody else has any more questions. Rachel and Miracle, you guys have been taking this course for a minute. Rachel has a limited franchise unit. So what I mean by that is Rachel bought an extension of our company that's existed since the early 90s. And we're still going strong. And she bought a limited franchise unit. And what that entitled her to was clients that we already had, the experience that we already had, the coverage that we have, all of that. She was able to utilize that in order to get some accounts that would support her business. And so when she completed the application, instead of stating that she had a very little experience, or not being able to have the references, the corporate references of clients, significant clients and client history, she was able to use the history of the corporation because she has a limited franchise unit. So that is how she built her company. And she started out with clients, because we were able to provide her with those clients and walk her through the entire vetting process, and the stuff that she needed to qualify, she could use from our company, because it's already been established. So that opportunity is available to you all as well. And that's called a limited franchise opportunity. It's called limited franchise because if you want to have your own company name, you can. You don't have to have our corporate name. You can have your own corporate branding. The benefit to you is that you get a chance to use our company's experience. You get a chance to use the resources that are available that will be necessary for you to have in order to pass through the vetting process that a lot of the clients will require for you to get the larger allocations, the larger contracts, right? Some abstracting agreements you have with companies, they're sending you spot orders here and there. They're smaller companies. They're paying you sporadically. They don't have consistent paydays, handwritten checks. I mean, just, but when you start dealing with the larger companies, the larger insurers, they've got regular pay dates, consistent pay dates. They're going to directly deposit that money into your account. They're going to send you a certain amount of allocations. They're going to communicate with you in terms of your allocation. They're going to give you a performance report so that you know where you stand. And then if you are not meeting a certain performance, that's when we step in to help you if you're a limited franchise with us. We step in to help you. We step in to help you be able to handle the amount of volume that you have. We also provide QC services. So if you've completed the report and you're getting ready to submit it, if you just give us maybe 5 to 10 minutes, we can run it through QC, because we can find things that their title examiner would find. Because the whole idea, the reason why they need the abstract is to ensure that there are no latent defects in the title, right? Here's the thing. It's the title examiner that needs to be pleased. We need to write that report in such a way that the title examiner can feel confident of what's going on in that title, because they're the ones that's going to issue the title commitment. So if you put a report together and the title examiner feels that it's got holes in it and that it's shabby, and they got to come back and ask you questions, then they got to wait forever for you to get the answer, that's not going to please the title examiner. Or if you just send them a whole bunch of papers and you don't have enough information in the report that documents what's going on, they don't like that either. They want you to tell them a full story, step by step. If you saw something in the title that was questionable, put it in the report and document it with a copy. That's what they want, step by step. If for some reason there's a gap, or it looks like it's a gap, give an explanation. What was the last thing you saw? What's the next thing that you see? Why is it that you're not seeing anything else? If there's a discrepancy in the legal description, don't just make an assumption. Put all kind of notes in there. But the more informative that report is, the better the title examiner feels, and the more they're going to want to use your company. It's the title examiner that's telling the vendor management whether or not they should use you based on the reports that you're sending them. So I want to make sure that you understand that. And that's what we teach you in the course, how to please that title examiner. And if you are a part of our limited franchise unit and you get ready to submit a report and you run it through us and we do the QC, we can tell you whether or not it's going to be one that's transparent for the title examiner, or if it's got some notes that are missing that you need to include in the report to please the title examiner, so that they feel as though they're seeing everything they need to see, and they won't have to come back to ask any questions. They won't have to prolong the commitment. They'll feel comfortable. Everybody that's involved will feel comfortable, and that will cause you to receive more allocations. How do I know this? We know this from decades of experience. Yeah, of winning contracts and losing some. Yeah, or having an enormous amount of allocation and then having them pull back on the allocations and explain to us why in our performance reports. So, and having been a title examiner myself, I definitely now understand. Yeah, having to work for a title insurer and be a title examiner on a number of occasions, I now know exactly what it is that they're looking for and how you can please them and how you can stay in that contract. So those are some of the things that we provide in the limited franchise opportunity. If you're not interested in the limited franchise opportunity, you'll still benefit from the course. Give me just a second. I'm just making sure that I'm looking everywhere and that I'm not missing anything that someone may be asking in terms of a question. Okay. All right. So I think that's it. All right. Now, we also, everybody, if you guys are already doing title reports, so you already have your own write-up sheets. But, if you don't, we also help you to walk through as you're preparing the reports and compiling the information. We also help you with coming up with the best, because everybody's not going to use the same run sheet. Run sheets vary, but I can tell you this. On your run sheet, you want to always list your tenancy. So if your run sheet already has a place that prescribes an area where you can enter the title tenancy, it makes it easier for the title examiner to read. It's already got a spot for it. And so you just list it as the tenancy, as to how the grantees took title. All of that's in there because they're going to want that in the report. If you're already doing the PACER reports and you're already doing the OFAC Patriot reports, great. If you're not, we teach you how to do that. We teach you how to set up your accounts and how to have those in addition to your report. You want to always report those, even if you have a client that doesn't ask for them. Their title examiner is having to get those. So if you go ahead and get them and submit it, you're providing a service that's going to save them some time, right? We show you how to find inconsistency in the land records. And the reason why that's important, because if there's conflicting ownership details, it's going to create possible claims in the future. And again, your name's going to come up. Your E&O is going to come up. So you want to do everything you can, not only to provide a perfect picture for your title examiner, because that's who you're pleasing, because that's who gets your hands on your information. Goes straight to the title examiner. They're the first person that get it. They go through it and they place everything in the necessary places, Schedule A, Schedule B on the title commitment, and then they issue it. But before they, I say, incriminate themselves, they're going to make sure that all of their questions are answered so that underwriters won't have to come back and ask them anything. And if you guys are wondering what underwriters, I don't have my book with me. There is a book that you want to get and that we will provide for you if you are a part of our limited franchise agreement. But it's a book that has the underwriting guidelines for a variation of title insurers, Stewart, First American, Old Republic. It has their underwriting guidelines. Some of them are standard and some of them can vary. You want those underwriting guidelines because anytime you're doing a title report and maybe there's an easement that passes on and it creates a problem in the legal description, where there's a question or there's an encroachment that's encroaching on a neighboring property. Underwriting has specifics that have to be met before they will approve that policy. If you know what the guidelines are and what the prescription is to solve it, because that'll be in that booklet that we give you, you can put that in your report. You can talk about the easement. You can talk about the encroachment that may be in question on your report, but then you can also provide the information that will resolve it, that will meet the underwriting guidelines, so that the underwriter doesn't have to come back and say, this is an encroachment that's impeding on, whatever property by whatever amount of feet, and we're going to need this, that, and the other. You can go ahead and provide it in your report that meets that underwriting guideline, and that title examiner will love you. But not just will they love you, you would have saved them a ton of time of having to go through underwriting, right? And at the same time, you put yourself in a position, again, to receive more of their allocations, meaning you'll receive more of their orders. So we have been in a position where we have received, oh my goodness, our just running just like this. So we were receiving like 400 orders a week. That didn't seem like a lot of orders. But when you are getting them prepared and you're running them all through QC, we had a staff that was working up till 10 o'clock at night to make sure that everything was going through typing, going through QC like it needed to. All of the documentation was in order as it should be. The AR report was being prepared. And that's another thing that we teach you to do as well. Whether you are a part of our limited franchise unit or not, we show you how to set up your AR. Now, you guys are already doing titles. So I know Miracle, Rachel, y'all are already in the business. Jeremy, you're in the business. Cindy, you're in the business. So you guys already have your AR reports. But for people that may be watching this later, that accounts receivable report is priceless, because every time you get an order in, you add it to your AR report. It is a necessity that you do it. It keeps up with all of your production, but that's not even the most important part. It helps you so that when it's time for your invoicing, because just picture it, if you're getting like 400 orders a week, then what happens when it's time for invoicing? Now, most of the companies that you deal with, you're not going to have to invoice them. Their system already has it set up to pay you. But how about this? They don't always pay you for everything that you've done. It's not intentional. It's oversight. And the more orders they send you, the more possibility for oversight. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2 orders, because maybe you could let that go. I'm talking about 10 or 20 orders per week or per month. And so you want to make sure that you're watching for that. Your AR report is priceless, and making sure that all of your invoicing is paid. And when I say invoicing, even if it's automatic and you don't have to do the invoicing, when they pay you, you can go through your AR to make sure that they've covered, that they have paid you for everything. Another thing, some companies, when they provide you with a procurement opportunity, they're saying to you, we're going to send you X number of orders every month, and we want to know that you can accommodate X number of orders. Now, some companies will ask you how many you can accommodate per month, per week, per day, and then they're going to send you up to that amount. So if you say you can handle 35 orders a day, they're going to send you up to and a little over 35 orders a day, right? You want that AR report, because some of them, when you say you could handle 35 to 50 orders a day, will say, can you email us a copy of your most recent AR? They want to see if you're already performing that way, right? So it's important that you keep up with that. Or in running your business, you may have an issue with making sure that there's consistent cash flow, because maybe the client is paying you every 30 days. We recommend not to accept a contract unless it's net 15 days, so that every 2 weeks you're getting a payment from your client. Whatever the case may be, if you have your AR report and you're in the middle of trying to run your company and you need provision for supplies, for repairs, for equipment, for payroll, you can factor a portion of your invoices. You don't even have to factor all of them. You can factor invoices from a particular client or for a particular period of time. They're going to ask you for your AR report. There are a variation of reasons why you need that AR report, so you just want to keep it handy. One of them is experience sake. If you say you've been in business for a while, and that's an off-the-cuff question, they'll ask you, which can we get a copy of your AR report? What's your total production for blah, 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 blah. You know, and you got to have that AR report to prepare for that. It's also good for your taxes. But anyway, that's one of the first things that we teach you in this course, how to prepare and set up your AR. We teach you how to set up your general ledger and those things that you need, because it's going to be required for this business, especially when you go to get E&O for larger amounts. So anyway, those are things that we teach as well. So I'm looking now to make sure I'm not missing any questions. Just as a benchmark, because we've been at this now for a minute and I'm getting ready to sign off in just a moment, but I want to make sure that I've addressed if I haven't addressed a specific concern of yours, can you please put that question in the chat for those who are in Zoom, in the comments for those who are on the Public Research Inc. Facebook Live, and those that may be in the YouTube Facebook Live. If I haven't addressed the reason why you're watching right now, please put that in the chat, or you can unmute. Well, I probably won't be able to hear you on YouTube. So that means you'll have to put your comment in so that I can see what it is that you're asking about. While we're talking about that, and while I'm waiting to see if anybody else is going to put anything in there, we talked to you not only about Tennessee, but we talked to you about verifying ownership interest. And the reason why we teach you that is because when you get ready to start doing the commercial searches, the ownership interest can be a monster, because it can be a venture partnership. So that means, so I just did one recently where there were 35 different companies, corporations, and LLCs that were a part of, it was a mixture of LLCs and C corporations that had a variated interest in the property as far as vesting interest, right? And then they were assigning the rents in such a way to make sure that the company that was providing the capital was going to be paid. We teach you about assignment of rents and leases so that you understand the purpose of those documents when you're doing commercial searches. And so we really want to teach you specifics about those commercial searches, because they are going to vary immensely. It's going to be a huge difference between the commercial search and the residential search when it comes to legal description, when it comes to ownership. So you want to understand the ownership when it comes to like joint tenancy, when you've got two owners and each one owns 50% ownership. But then what about when you start looking into other ways of owning, like for instance, tenancy in common? That means that one person could hold 70%, another person could hold 30%. There's a variation of vested interest. Did I see a comment go up or a hand go up? Maybe not. Thought I did. But okay, so that's why we want to we kind of teach specifics when it comes to the ownership interest, specifically for commercial, because that's how a lot of abstractists get hung up when they're doing the commercial searches and they're not understanding the difference, the nuances of commercial research, and there are a lot of them. That is what we teach in the course. Now, when you look in the book, what we try to do is provide information that's going to cover commercial and residential. And we don't define it as commercial or residential in the book, but in the course, we specifically outline the differences, the nuances, the things that you need to look for that can be targeted in commercial research that can help you be more successful in commercial research. We talk about trustee assignments in depth, because sometimes when we're looking at the assignments, especially again with commercial deals, if we don't understand what's happening in terms of transference, then it's going to create a problem in the title in terms of it being fluent. And so the ownership, the percentage of ownership, the transference, the assignments, all of those are important because it's going to create a clear picture. And you can have up to $300 copies in your title report for a commercial search. And it can get very confusing. So your run sheet has to be accurate, and you want it to be something that you're typing as you're doing the report. And we teach you how to do that in commercial research. So we teach you the vital differences. I'm sorry, I'm just looking, making sure I'm checking every screen and that I'm not missing anybody. We teach you how to apply the vital nuances and differences between the searches. If you are in a particular state that requires a license, we walk you through reaching out to that particular licensing department so that you can complete your application for the testing. We help you study for your testing and prepare you to take your testing. Now, if you're in the state of Minnesota, states like Minnesota that require a license for abstracting, they accept this course. They don't have a list of approved courses. So this book is acceptable. We've had people, I had a young man, I think back at the beginning of the year, to get the book to help walk him through taking the test in Minnesota. He was able to pass the test. The book helped him to be successful in passing the test. And that was really all he wanted. He didn't take the course. He just wanted the book to help him pass that particular course. We helped coach him in certain areas in terms of studying for the test. Now he did take the course for that because we helped prep him. So he took maybe, I think it was like 4 weeks. It's a 10-week course. He took like 4 weeks to just help prep him for the test. He was specifically prepping for the test, to pass the test, to get his license. And again, he was able to pass and to get his licensing. Not every state requires licensing for abstractors. That's one of the few states that requires licensing. So I don't know if you're there or not. So what I have talked about is a variation of things that we teach in the course. I really want to stress that we teach systematic review of land records. And the reason why we do that is because a lot of people have done abstracting on the surface. But when it starts to get down to analyzing the historical research, they don't understand a lot of the terminology. And that can prove to be a problem. Especially when you start dealing with underwriters and they're asking you certain questions because you've done a 60-year search. Some companies will require a 100-year search from you. And you want to know how to provide the information. And so sometimes it's not just a matter of providing the title information, but they're sometimes looking for mineral rights to see if they conveyed, or they're looking to see if this is one of the properties that was involved in some type of colonialism, where a portion of the interest of the property was retained, so that the resident could only have a portion of the interest. Like, for instance, in Baldwin County, Alabama, that's still a colonial. I believe it's specifically in Fairhope, the city of Fairhope, where a portion of that vested interest of the land is still owned by the colony. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. So when you're doing historical research, you have to understand, like in 1845, when there are certain conveyances and patterns that go forth that are a little different than what we have now. And so sometimes you'll get 100-year search, or sometimes even beyond that, to go all the way back to 1845, so that there are certain historical records that they look for. I'm not going to teach what I teach in the course here specifically, but I want you to know that that's a part of the curriculum of the course. Now, I'm going to stop here to see if anybody has any other questions, if I've answered everybody's questions. And if I have, then I don't have to go any further. But if you'd like to hear more about what we offer, if you want specifics, have questions. So while you have me here, if you've got some specific questions about a certain area in title research, because like I say, everybody we're talking to now, you're already doing abstracting. So if you've got specific questions regarding the industry, I can answer them for you now. If you got a specific problem that you're dealing with in the scope of a search that you're working with, I don't mind answering that specifically for you now. If there's any help I can be to you, I would love to do that while we're here in this setting. Because if not, I don't want to continue talking if I'm not providing information that you need. So I'm pausing to see. Jeremy, you still with us? Put something in the comments so I know that you're still there, because I'm not seeing you in that public research Facebook Live. So if you're still, I see Miracle. I see 2 other people, but I need to know that you're still there and that we're answering your questions. Cindy, in the Zoom, do you have any specifics that you want me to address? Anything that I haven't addressed that you were hoping to get and I haven't addressed it yet?
I'm sorry, you may hear my son in the background, but no, you've addressed pretty much what I was looking for. Like I said, I've done, as you said, on the surface title searches, and I'm interested in delving deeper so I can, like I said, start a business in title abstracting. But no, I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay. Well, the course, firstly, if you haven't ordered the book, pick up a copy of the book on Amazon, because the enrollment information, let me check, it was in the first one. Let's make sure it's in this one. The enrollment information should be in the book, but you can also reach out to me. I'm going to put my contact info. Yeah, it is. All right. Yeah. So the enrollment information is on page 13 in the book. And if you haven't started your corporation, there's another course that we have, Easy Corporate Comprehensive Curriculum for New Business Owners. Now, in this book, we start you from setting up your company to teaching you how to incorporate it. We walk you through incorporating it. So in each chapter, when we walk you through teaching you the course, you finish that assignment. So we walk you through, we don't get out of the course until you have incorporated. So the first chapter is incorporating you. When we finish the first chapter, you're incorporated. When we go to the next chapter, now we're setting you up for your taxes. And then the next chapter, we're setting you up to become a vendor with the state. And the reason why you want to do that, explain how that works. When you become a vendor with the state, not just the state that you're in, but we list the variation of states in the book. What happens is it opens you up for procurement opportunities with the state. There are several times when the state needs abstractors to go in and research the title for maybe road projects that they have coming up. right? They're going to have to choose the abstractors that are a part of their vendor program. So we get you approved as vendors. And if there's another service that you offer, to give you an example, we have a company and they offer one service, right? And that was what their SIC code was for. But I explained in teaching them that you need to expand your SIC code to cover anything that you have experience in that you can provide as a service. Well, they also have licensing in security. They've done security work. They got a whole staff of people that have done security work. So they expanded their SIC code, even though it's a huge difference from what it was that they were doing. They have the SIC code for what they're doing in their company, and then they expanded their profile to add the SIC code, excuse me, for security. Excuse me. And guess what? They got a procurement opportunity from the state in security. So what that means is that if you get awarded a contract from the state, that is viable income that's coming in. So now you've got your abstracting here. You got a contract that you got from the state that you have now staffed, and you've got people working doing that while you got your abstracting business over here. Those are the kind of things that we teach you in Easy Corporate Comprehensive Curriculum for New Business Owners. What we're doing is teaching you how to set up a digital footprint for your company to make your company more and more visible to those search engines that search just for corporations. Yeah, so that by the time you follow everything comprehensively, chapter by chapter in the book, you're so visible that you'll start to get opportunities coming to look for you, because when they search for corporations in the search engine that searches for corporations, your company will keep coming up in a variation of places. That's what we teach in this course. So we teach you how to set up your company, but not just that, how to grow it, how to scale it, how to maintain it in this course. So those are some things that we provide. I'm hoping that I showed you everything. We also help business owners to purchase specifically real estate. This book is Homeownership Pre-Planning and much, much more. It is a resource, a purchase power resource for business owners. Here's why I say that. Because in the back, there are like 15 different non-qualifying mortgage lenders that will loan to business owners, specifically corporations, and they've got underwriting guidelines that are conducive for businesses. They're not high-risk lenders. They're not hard money lenders. They're regular competitive lenders with competitive rates. But the difference is their underwriting guidelines are conducive for business owners. That's the difference. And they're called non-qualifying mortgage lenders. But not only that, this book is set up for anybody that owns real estate or wants to buy real estate, whether it's on a corporate level or not. It teaches you how to prepay your mortgage, by prepaying your mortgage interest. It gives you exact formulas to know how to do that. This book is a huge resource, and it's called Homeownership Pre-Planning. So all of that in a package. When you walk away, you've got people who are vetted investors that are now seeking out your company to invest in your company by purchasing some of your stock. And that will be a way to help you raise capital for your company as well. Those are all the things that we teach. Jeremy, these are some of the things that you already know. You're still working in the course, Easy Corporate Comprehensive. And I'm hoping that you'll go ahead and finish everything in your title abstract and get all that set up like you need to. Miracle and Rachel, you guys are doing awesome in everything that you guys have set up. Rachel, I'm so proud of TrueMark. I'm proud of everybody. I'm definitely proud of TrueMark Services Incorporated and for the accomplishments that you have made. And Miracle, I'm proud of your enterprise as well. So we're all just growing together. Everybody's growing step by step. Cindy, if there's anything that we can do to help you in the future, but I would suggest that you start with getting a copy of this book on Amazon.com if you don't already have it. If you have it, go to page 13. When you get ready to enroll, there's enrollment information there. When you send us that email stating that you want to enroll in the course, we're going to send you out a survey. It's going to automatically go to you. If I can stop it from coming, I will. But the survey needs to find out where you are in your title research understanding, because that's where we're going to start you in the course. If I can stop it from coming out, like if I can intercept it, I will, because you've told me now where you are. So I would know exactly where to start you. But if not, you'll get a questionnaire asking you what level of research history you have, or ability you have, or knowledge you have, so that we're not starting you in a place. This is a 10-week course. We want to make sure that we're maximizing in that time. But anyway, the enrollment information is in that book. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for everybody for joining us. I'm about to shut off. I don't know which one of y'all are going to go off first, but I'm about to shut off if nobody else has any questions. Okay, Cindy, I'll just look for you to reach out. Okay, guys. All right. Thank you so much. And if you know any friends or anybody else that's interested, just you can provide them with that same link. And this link is going to be in the recording of this as well when we make it public on YouTube, so that if you know anybody that's interested, you can refer them to the video, and the link will be in the comments. Thank y'all so much, and have a good weekend. Well, the weekend's over. Have a good week. Good night.